All right, so I got to figure out what this is all about. A challenging week coming up for us? In what ways?
It's a challenging week because of where the moon is. And this is, it doesn't happen very often, but the moon makes a series of really difficult aspects to Mars, which is the planet of grief and aggravation, to Uranus, the planet of who the heck knows what's going to happen. And it's kind of, it's an unpredictable kind of a week where the moon is. So I'm going to do my best to try and interpret where I think it's going to impact people. And the biggest thing is to not panic, and not to go, oh, it's going to be like this forever. It's a very unusual week in that regard for Aquarians. I think that it is a bit of a challenge for them through the pace of their day-to-day living picks up, and that they're trying to put a whole bunch of new things into motion, and they're going to be met with resistance for almost every single thing they try and do. And I don't know whether they have to sell it better or refine it, but I just know that there's a bunch of things that they want to put in that's going to change their daily routine, and it's going to be challenging to make that acceptable to them. For Pisces, it's going to cost them a ton of money one way or the other. They've got a bunch of expenses going on, unanticipated expenses, and if they were looking for help for somebody else or they were looking for assistance with it, they're going to find that there's nothing. It's the kind of thing where you reach into your pockets, and they're empty. It's that kind of a thing, which is awful, I think. For Aries, it's about them starting a whole bunch of projects with a whole bunch of energy and none of them having any basis to really become a real part of their life. So the idea is if I was an Aries, I would kind of look around what I'd like to try and accomplish. I would do a lot more research on it and not count on having any help doing it, that if I was going to do something, it was going to be alone to make that happen. For Tauruses, this is a challenge for them because it is a sort of a low energy kind of week for them. They're going to be pulled in more than one direction and have more things to do than they can possibly accomplish in a given day. So it's the type of thing where they're going to end up running themselves ragged, and it's a bad time of year to run yourself ragged because of ailments that will pop up. Okay. So Pat's got to say no to some of the things this coming week.
Gotcha.
For Geminis, this is an open confrontation for Geminis. Our president is a Gemini, and this is going to be the big push comes to shove kind of thing. And he's going to see, as all Geminis this week, who's really with them and who is against them. And the depth of the opposition is what they're going to end up seeing. So again, don't panic and have a knee-jerk reaction. Just kind of take it in, observe it, and figure out what you're going to do about it. For Cancers, it's in their 10th house of career and public standing, and they want to shake things up. They want to change things. They want to bring things around. They want to blaze new paths and all of that stuff, and there's not a lot of support to do it. Again, it's the type of thing where if you're going to make changes professionally, make sure you're on the right side of who's going to be the boss is the most important thing.
Gotcha.
For Leos, it's really not bad for them. It's one of the few signs that doesn't have to go, holy God. I know, I'm kind of happy about that because otherwise you'd throw stuff at me. Legal matters go well for them. Educational matters go well for them. A good bluff is going to work for them, which will be a cool thing. So, and I'm not sure they're going to get everything they want, but I do know they're going to get more than they thought they were going to get, which is kind of unusual, which is nice because they're expecting the worst and it's not going to be that bad. For Virgos, it's about, spending a bunch of money. It's about spending a bunch of money, and it's about doing it in fits and starts and not really having a clear understanding of what it is you're getting. So to Virgos everywhere, I say, make sure that you get what it is that you pay for. That's the big challenge with this energy, is to keep your focus and kind of narrow it a bit to something you can actually do something with. For Libra, everybody's pointing fingers at Libra. Everybody's yelling at Libra. Everybody's making demands at Libra. And Libras have to be really careful not to be pulled in too many different directions that they need to, again, and they find out who their friends are and aren't, which is an important thing because there are people that are going, sure, we're your buddies, and they're really not. For Scorpios, it's about work. It's about responsibility. It's about and again, this is a type of thing where they're going to be saddled with more work than they can possibly do, and they don't really have any way to not do it, so they just need to kind of buckle down and go through this difficult week to the very best of their ability. For Sagittarians, they have, this is not a bad energy for them, but they have to be careful because anything they get into is going to be easier to get into it than it is to get out of it. And Sagittarians are not big fans of responsibility, and they have to know that some of the things that they create are going to take on a life of their own in a physical and esoteric sense of the word. So again, anything easier to get into than it will be to get out of. For Capricorns, this is kind of disruptive energy at home. It's almost like an earthquake of sorts ripples through their foundations, and they have to make sure that whatever it is that's going on at home, that it has a solid basis, a solid foundation. So that's tomorrow's news today for what appears to be a kind of difficult week.
Well, we'll take on the challenge, and we'll see you next week with
Always
maybe
a
better news.
pleasure. Oh, it'll be much better next week.